If you can't hold your attention for 10 minutes, you don't have a problem with time, you have a problem with power. Listen, attention is the new currency. Every beep, scroll, and shiny promise is trying to steal it. The person who learns to guard, direct, and compound their focus will outpace everyone who waits for willpower to wake up. That person could be you. Right now, your attention is scattered like coins across a busy street. Your goals are a pile of unspent change while your distractions take taxis, fly first class, and invest the returns. This is brutal but simple. Where your attention goes, your energy, habits, and life follow. If you want different results, you must change what you feed with your focus. Start here, the foundation. Your first job is awareness. Most people think they're paying attention when actually they're skimming life. Open your eyes to the pattern. What snatches your time? Social apps? Endless email threads? Meetings that could be a single sentence? Identify the 3 biggest drains that show up hour after hour. Name them. Naming is power. It brings the thief into the light. Now, a practical anchor. For the next 3 sessions today, pick one single task and give it a strict, sacred 10-minute block. No phone, no tabs, no planning the grocery run in your head. Just one task. 10 minutes is small enough that your resistance drops, but long enough that you begin to experience the taste of real focus. You will be surprised how much you can move in those 10 minutes when you are truly present. There's a muscle here. Like any muscle, it strengthens with consistent load. But you don't build endurance by doing everything. You build it by setting high-quality, repeatable reps. Commit to focused reps, 3 blocks a day, 5 days a week. Increase block length as you win. This is not a gimmick. This is training. Your environment is not neutral. Design it. The brain is lazy and will follow the easiest cue. If your phone is within reach, your attention will take the path of least resistance and leave you. Put the phone in another room or face down in a drawer. Close tabs that tempt you. Create a tiny ritual, a specific mug, a clean desk corner, a 5-second inhale. Rituals flip the brain's switch from grazing to hunting. They tell your nervous system, now we work. Next principle, one focus at a time. Multitasking is a modern myth funded by poor results. When you try to do 2 things at once, you double the time and have the clarity. Your brain is a serial processor masquerading as a multitasker. Use it as intended. Choose a single mission and give it your full bandwidth until it's done or until your predetermined block ends. You will fight internal chatter. The mind loves to narrate, judge, and plan while you try to execute. That voice is not your enemy. It's untrained. You need to train it. When the chatter starts, don't wrestle. Acknowledge it with a phrase, noted. Then return to the object of attention. Tiny course corrections beat dramatic battles. Each time you notice and return, you reclaim a piece of authority over your mind. Breathing is a low-cost, high-return tool. Before every focus block, take 4 slow, deep breaths. Let the exhale be a reset. Breath anchors you to now. It kills the looping mental radio. Use it like a blacksmith uses a hammer. Precise, repeated blows that shape the metal of your attention. There's a deeper layer, your identity of concentration. Most people think concentration is a technique. It's actually an identity. You don't say, I will concentrate today. You say, I am the kind of person who finishes what they start. Shift the language you use about yourself. Identity creates default behaviors. If you speak as the focused person you want to become, even in small ways, your actions will start to follow. Let's borrow a sharp idea. Napoleon Hill taught that concentrated thought creates achievement. He didn't mean a mystical power, he meant relentless, directed practice. Think of Hill's concentrated thought as the discipline to invest your attention where it compounds. If you focus on worthless noise, you compound nothing. If you focus on the driving task, your results accelerate. Habits are the architecture of attention. Design tiny habits that scaffold focus. Example, after you sit down, you immediately open a single document and write a single sentence. That tiny action primes the brain for continuity. Habit engineers remove decisions that drain your attention. The more you automate initiation, the more you conserve willpower for the hard parts. We must also talk about the trade-offs you are making. Attention requires you to say no, often to things you like. Saying no is not deprivation, it is allocation. Every yes to a distraction is a no to your future competence. The question becomes brutal but clarifying. What are you willing to sacrifice today for the person you want to be in a year? If the answer is vague, your attention will be vague. Make the trade explicit. You will encounter resistance. Expect it. Resistance will bring the most convincing arguments. You can multitask. You'll check the phone for just a sec. You'll do it next. Those are the mind's rationalizations. Counter them with a simple protocol. When resistance arrives, act immediately for 1 minute on the most valuable work. Momentum kills excuses. Practice a weekly purge. Once every 7 days, do a 10-minute review of where your attention went. Mark wins and losses. Celebrate the blocks where you were present. Notice patterns. Evening doom scrolling? Notification spikes? Use the data to adjust your environment. This is feedback, not shame. Feedback is how you upgrade. We must also talk about energy. Focus is not only mental, it's physiological. Sleep, food, movement, and sunlight matter. If you are perpetually tired, concentration will be brittle. Fix the basics. Move for 10 minutes before a long focus block. Hydrate. Eat protein. Even small steps in the body create big yields in the mind. Another tool, the attention vault. For ideas, interruptions, or future tasks that intrude while you're working, use a single capture place, a notebook or a digital list. When a thought pops up, write it down and return. You don't abandon the thought, you promise it a safe place. That promise calms your system and frees your core attention for the present. Now a powerful mental experiment. Imagine that in 5 years, you are exactly the person your daily attention creates. No more abstract. Visualize the precise skills, the relationships, the projects you will have if your attention stays where it is. Then imagine the alternative, the life shaped by scattered attention. Which one tastes like victory? Hold that image. Use it like a magnet each morning. Small wins compound. 1 focused hour per day equals hundreds of deep hours in a year. Those hundreds are the difference between shallow noise and creative mastery. The math is on your side if you direct the deposits. A quick, tactical set of rules to try right now. 1. Choose the single most important task. 2. Remove all visible distractions. 3. Set a 10-minute timer and start. 4. Use breath to anchor if you drift. 5. Log 1 sentence about what you accomplished afterward. Repeat 3 times. That's the micro protocol of change. Before we close this part, a reminder from Earl Nightingale. We become what we think about. He was blunt because the truth is blunt. What you feed in your mind grows. Feed skill, feed depth, feed the discipline of attention, and you will harvest capability. You're building a fortress of attention brick by brick. Today's 10-minute victories are the mortar. Keep showing up. Make the environment simple. Make the identity clear. Make small, repeatable wins non-negotiable. Now, tell me in the comments, what is the single distraction you will remove from your workspace in the next 24 hours? Be specific, name it, commit to where it will be placed, and write one sentence about what you will focus on during your first 10-minute block. Your answer matters. Part 2. You think focus is about doing the right thing. It's not. Focus is about becoming the right kind of person. If you change what lives inside your head, the conversation you have with yourself, everything outside changes. This part is the mechanics of your inner world, the beliefs, the tiny voices, the fears that masquerade as truth. You will learn how to rewire them and turn inner noise into inner fuel. First, beliefs are not facts. They are trained responses. Somewhere along the line you learned limits. Some were handed to you, some you picked up by accident. Those limits live like old furniture in your mind, bulky, familiar, in the way. You can move them. Start by testing one belief. Pick something you tell yourself about your capacity for concentration. I'm easily distracted, or I can't focus more than 20 minutes. Treat it like a hypothesis, not a verdict. Run an experiment for 3 days. Set one reliable focus block, measure it, and collect the data. The belief will either hold or break. Most beliefs break with evidence. Inner dialogue is the battlefield. The voice inside can be an ally or a saboteur. It loves to narrate catastrophes. What if you fail? What if it's boring? Stop engaging like it's an argument to win. Instead, adopt a curator's stance. Note the thought, label it, and file it. Use framed phrases. Curious thought, noted, or simply, next. Short, neutral labels remove drama. Drama keeps you scattered. Neutrality returns you to the task. Fear is loud but predictable. It will inflate obstacles and invent consequences. The method to unmask fear is simple and brutal. Ask 2 questions. What is the real worst outcome, and how long would you survive it? Most feared outcomes are temporary and fixable. The mind exaggerates permanence. You will find you can handle more than you thought. Name the fear out loud. Once named, fear loses its authority. Decisiveness is attention wearing armor. Indecision consumes attention in loops, weighing, imagining, avoiding. Make micro decisions fast. Train your decisiveness with small, low-risk choices that carry immediate feedback. Choose the music to work to and commit for the whole block. Pick a single headline to write and finish it. Decide, act, review. Speed trains clarity. Repetition builds neural pathways that favor action over analysis. Discipline is not a punishment. It's a promise. It's a daily agreement you make with your future self. I will reduce chaos today so you can thank me later. The secret is to make discipline small and non-negotiable. Don't vow a perfect regimen. Vow tiny rituals that scale. The 5-second rule works because it removes debate. When you feel resistance, count down and move. The count is a built-in nudge. Do the smallest next step and let momentum do the rest. Focus thrives on beginning rituals and closure rituals. Begin with a 2-breath anchor and a 1-sentence intention. Close by capturing one metric, a single sentence that records progress. These micro-rituals flank your work with clarity. They tell your brain where the event starts and ends. Habits are the guardrails for attention. Build them and you'll stop losing time to decision fatigue. There's a practical trick called attention stacking. Pair a weak habit you want to form with an established one. After you brush your teeth, you sit for 3 minutes of focused breathing. After your morning coffee, you open the single document you intend to work on. The existing habit becomes a lever. Use leverage ruthlessly. The environment inside your head requires tidy maintenance. Create an attention inbox. When intrusive thoughts hijack you, jot them down and return. The act of capture signals to the brain the item is safe, move on. This reduces panic, preserves focus, and builds trust between your conscious and subconscious mind. You must also wrestle with perfectionism, the disguised form of procrastination. Perfectionism says, don't start until conditions are perfect. The cure is the good first principle. Begin with a version that's good enough to iterate on. Ship, then improve. The friction of having something tangible is far more productive than the paralysis of planning ideal conditions. A powerful exercise to reprogram attention identity. Create a 3-sentence declaration you will say every morning. Make it specific, framed in the present tense, and identity-based. Example: I am the person who focuses for 2 uninterrupted hours each morning. I prioritize depth over busyness. I protect my attention like my most valuable asset. Speak it, believe it, behave accordingly. Identity language shifts default behavior faster than any productivity hack. Cultivate intentional boredom. In a world that prizes constant stimulation, learning to sit with low arousal is a superpower. Schedule short windows where you do nothing stimulating. No phone, no podcasts, no news. Let the mind find its center. This practice restores your capacity for deep attention because it reduces baseline craving for novelty. Leverage the power of deadlines. The brain responds to pressure when the stakes are clear. Set artificial, tight deadlines for small projects. A 1-hour sprint with a clear deliverable produces more concentrated work than a vague all-day plan. Deadlines sharpen choices and make attention economical. Now control your social environment. People thin your attention as much as apps. If your circle applauds scattered busyness, you will emulate it. Surround yourself with people who admire focus, who ask about completed actions rather than hours logged. Practice concise reporting. Share what you finished, not what you planned. Social signaling shifts identity. There's a practical mindset trick you can steal from the best communicators. Reframe interruptions as supplies, not thieves. Treat every interruption like data about your system. Is your inbox a chaos center? Then make a new rule. Is your partner needing reassurance during focus blocks? Then schedule check-ins. Interruptions tell you what to fix. Use them. Now a short, powerful technique, the 3-move rule. When you feel the urge to switch tasks, perform 3 deliberate actions before you allow it. 1. Write down why you want to switch. 2. Set a 2-minute timer and continue. 3. If you still need to switch after 2 minutes, do it intentionally. This creates friction for distractions without killing necessary flexibility. Remember to celebrate the small victories. After a successful focus block, reward yourself with a mini ritual. Stand, stretch, smile, and acknowledge the win. Reinforcement cements habit. The brain loves patterns. Win, reward, repeat. Dale Carnegie taught the power of small social nudges. Use that wisdom on yourself. Tell a trusted friend about your focus goal and ask them to check in. Accountability externalizes intention and raises the stakes in a helpful way. Finally, practice the gratitude of attention. When you finish a meaningful, undistracted session, acknowledge the luxury you were given, the chance to build skill. Gratitude doesn't make you soft, it makes you steady. It connects effort to purpose and turns mundane discipline into meaningful ritual. Now it's time for action. Pick one limiting belief you will test this week. Write it in the comments, name the experiment you will run, and describe one tiny ritual you will use to support it. Be concrete. Be brief. Your public commitment makes the inner change real. Part 3. Here's a truth few people say out loud. Attention is your most persuasive tool in any room. You can have the sharpest idea, the cleanest plan, the cleverest words, and still fail if you don't bring them with presence. Presence is not charisma by accident. It's the disciplined allocation of attention to the person in front of you, to the moment you are in. When you can hold attention, you influence outcomes. When you scatter it, you become background noise. Start with listening. Real listening is rare because most of us listen to reply, not to understand. You want influence? Learn to listen to the unsaid. Watch the micro changes, the hesitation before an answer, the eyes that dart away, the small smile that hides something heavy. Those micro clues are where truth lives. When you listen like this, your responses hit with surgical precision. You stop guessing and start connecting. Practice this now. In your next conversation, do one radical thing. Ask a question and then stay silent for 3 extra seconds after they finish speaking. That silence is not awkward, it's a doorway. People naturally fill silence with honesty or depth. Use those 3 seconds to observe tone, breathing, and posture. Use what you learn to answer with one sentence that acknowledges what you heard before you add your point. This one move will make you appear more thoughtful than most people who have triple the experience you do. Presence is not only about ears, it's about body language. Your posture sends a message before your mouth does. Open your chest, relax your jaw, soften your eyes. The easiest charisma hack? Look at the other person's forehead and then drop your gaze to their eyes. It feels natural and attentive without being intense. Small, consistent physical cues tell the other person you are valued here. Emotional intelligence is concentrated attention to feelings, both yours and others. When you can name the emotion in play, you remove a layer of chaos. Sounds like you're frustrated is a small phrase with big effect. Naming emotions reduces resistance and invites cooperation. It's not counseling, it's clarity. Use it to diffuse tension and to build trust quickly. Trust is a fragile compound of consistency and presence. If you say you'll give someone 30 minutes and you show up distracted, trust erodes. If you consistently show up with focus, trust compounds. People notice patterns more than speeches. Your credibility is built on repeated, focused interactions. That's influence that lasts. Conflict is a test of attention. When confrontation happens, most people escalate by getting louder or retreating into avoidance. Instead, try this. Slow down. Focus on the content and the intent separately. Repeat back the content, what happened, and then ask about the intent, what each person wanted. This 2-step separates fact from motive and reduces needless escalation. You will be stunned how quickly anger cools when someone listens with the aim to understand rather than to win. There's a stealth power in concise communication. The world rewards brevity wrapped in clarity. Say what you mean in as few words as possible without losing the heart of it. When you are concise, you force attention to the essential. Practice making 3-sentence summaries of your ideas. If you can't make it 3 lines, you don't have clarity yet. Clarity commands attention. Vagueness repels it. Now, let's talk about distraction in group settings. Meetings are attention sinks. Your role is to be the signal in the noise. Start meetings with a single, declared objective and a 5-minute period of silent preparation where everyone writes down one priority. Silence before a meeting sharpens thinking. If you are the leader, close the loop. Assign a single next step owner and a specific deadline. People respect clarity and will follow someone who gives it. Leadership is essentially attention management at scale. Leaders distribute attention where it matters, to the people who deliver results, to the friction points, to the future. A leader who micromanages attention everywhere ends up diluting it. A leader who trusts and focuses attention on the critical nodes creates leverage. Learn to ask, where will my attention produce 10 times the effect? put it there. Social confidence is trained, not innate. It grows when you practice being present in small, manageable social bets. Start by practicing presence in 5-minute conversations, short, focused, full attention. Gradually increase the stakes. Social courage is built by repeated small acts of presence, not giant gestures of bravado. There is a moral clarity to focused attention. It honors time. When you give someone undivided attention, you are saying their existence matters. That simple ethic changes how people see you and how you see yourself. Influence then becomes less about manipulation and more about service. People follow those who make them feel seen. Technology complicates everything. Notifications are optimized to hijack your social attention because companies profit from your divided mind. Fight back with rules. Phone in another room. Notifications off for the core hours. If you're in a relationship where your partner expects constant responsiveness, set clear windows. I'll be fully present from 9 to 11 and will check messages at 11:15. Predictability reduces anxiety on both sides and protects your attention. Negotiation is concentration dressed in strategy. Great negotiators listen twice as much as they speak. They notice the rhythm of the conversation. They repeat key phrases to test fidelity, and they anchor with calm certainty. Use patience as leverage. People who rush to fill silence give up information. People who hold it command it. The 3-second silence trick applies here too, but in negotiation, sometimes you must hold 20 seconds. Use it as your most underused power. Now, charisma. It's less about magnetism and more about full presence. Charismatic people are not always louder or flashier. They are fully there. Think of someone who made you feel like the only person in the room. That's the calibrated allocation of attention. Practice being that person in small settings. The returns compound. There is a practical habit you can adopt, a closing ritual for conversations. At the end of each meaningful talk, give 1-sentence summary of what you heard and one action you will take. Ask the other person to confirm. This ritual turns idle talk into effective interaction and cements your reputation as dependable and focused. Influence without manipulation is the highest form of power. Manipulation is short-term gain that corrodes relationships. Focused influence builds long-term authority. Use attention to align interests, to clarify intentions, and to create shared momentum. Influence that arrives from genuine presence is durable because it is built on mutual acknowledgement, not on trickery. Practice presence exercises daily. Here are 3 to rotate. 1. The listening drill. For 10 minutes, respond only with questions, not statements. 2. The mirror pause. Before responding, count to 3 and mirror the speaker's last phrase back to them. 3. The one-task social. During any social event, focus on one person entirely for 5 minutes. Rotate these exercises and notice how your social gravity grows. Finally, reflect on where you currently invest your social attention. Do you spend more time reacting to drama or building relationships? Do you give attention to shallow likes and viral noise, or to deep conversations and real-world projects? The pattern will show you what your future social world will look like. Change the pattern, change the people you attract. Now make a move. Write in the comments one specific social habit you will change this week to increase your presence. Name it, explain exactly how you will measure it, and tell us the last time you felt truly seen. What happened and how did it change you? Your example will help others learn, and public commitment is the simplest engine for change. Part 4. If you want to win at work and life, concentration cannot be an occasional stunt. It must be your operating system. Think of your attention like capital. You invest it where returns multiply. The people who create massive outcomes don't work longer. They allocate attention to the highest leverage actions and protect those windows like a vault. This part is about turning focused attention into a practical, repeatable system that delivers results, the kind to change careers, businesses, and self-worth. Start with clarity. If everything is urgent, nothing is important. Each morning, pick 3 outcomes that would make the day a real win. Not 10 tasks, 3 outcomes. One that moves money or career forward, one that advances a relationship or reputation, and one that improves your skill. Name them clearly. When you have these anchors, the rest of your day becomes a support function, not the mission. This triage is not arbitrary, it's leverage. Now build your deep blocks. Real deep work needs time and consecutive concentration. Schedule 2 to 3 blocks per day of uninterrupted work. Blocks should be at least 60 minutes. 90 is better when you can manage it. Protect these blocks ruthlessly. Close apps, mute notifications, tell people you're unavailable. Use a clear start ritual. 4 deep breaths, a 5-second visualization of the outcome, then begin. At the end of the block, record 1 sentence, what you moved forward. This closure trains your brain to link effort with outcome. Flow is not magic, it's the product of preparation and environment. Reduce friction so your brain can glide. Prepare. Know the first micro step before you start. Environment. Remove visual distractions, adjust light, stand if it helps. Energy. Eat, move, hydrate. Rhythm. Alternate deep blocks with short recovery periods, 20 minutes of walking or simple movement to reset dopamine and focus. Treat these cycles like intervals in athletic training. They build stamina. Batch similar tasks. Your brain hates context switching. Group emails, calls, administrative tasks into single time slots. Reserve deep creative or problem-solving work for the blocks when you're sharpest, often in the morning. Save low cognitive load tasks for when energy wanes. This isn't rigidity, it's respect for how attention functions. Decision fatigue is a silent killer. Reduce petty choices by standardizing routines. Meals, clothing, start-of-day rituals. Use pre-decisions for reoccurring items. If you run a team, decide once on small matters and enforce the decision so your people don't bring them back daily. Every saved decision is attention you can invest in creative, high-impact work. Value measure, not busyness. The calendar full of meetings feels productive, but often produces little. Ask, what will this meeting produce? If there is no clear output, shorten or cancel it. For reoccurring work, adopt the 1 deliverable per meeting rule. This forces focus towards tangible progress. Use concise agendas and close each meeting with 1 committed next step and a named donor. Problem-solving demands focused curiosity. When faced with a hard problem, apply the constructor's method. 1. Define the problem in 1 sentence. 2. Break it into the smallest independent parts. 3. Attack 1 part with a focused block. 4. Test fast and iterate. This approach turns overwhelm into manageable experiments and prevents attention from dissolving into analysis paralysis. Do more with less by optimizing inputs. High-quality inputs, sharp mentors, focused reading, targeted feedback reduce wasted time. Replace endless consumption with selective study. 1 book, 1 course, 1 coach that directly improves your most important skill. Consume to solve a gap, not to avoid work. Create opportunities with attention. People who spot openings aren't luckier, they are more present. Look for unmet needs in conversations, in teams, in markets. When you notice one, act immediately with a short, specific offer. A meeting, a prototype, a brief message that shows you saw the gap. Speed matters. Attention plus speed multiplies chance. Time block for creative incubation. Not all focus looks active. Schedule open thinking blocks where you let your mind roam on a specific question. Use structured prompts. What if we tried X? What's the smallest version of this idea that could work? These blocks are powerful when paired with data capture. Always record insights. Incubation plus capture equals raw material for future deep blocks. Sustainability matters. You can't pour from an empty cup. Guard sleep, nutrition, movement, and social connection. High performers do intense, focused work and then replenish. Build recovery rituals. an evening wind-down ritual, a weekend mini reset, a weekly active rest period where you stop doing output work and let ideas percolate. Treat these cycles like intervals in athletic training. They build stamina. Use external scaffolds. Tools and systems are not crutches, they are levers. A simple task manager, a calendar with color-coded blocks, a capture notebook, and one place for your project plans are enough. Over-engineering creates its own attention tax. Keep systems simple and visible. The fewer places you must remember things, the more brain power you free for creative work. Scale attention with delegation. If you lead a business or project, identify the tasks only you can do and those you should delegate. Delegation is not abdication, it's strategic reallocation of attention. Train your team with focused handoffs, what success looks like, the constraints, and the first deliverable. Then remove yourself from micro-decisions and use the recovered attention for leverage activities. Feedback loops accelerate growth. After every major block, ask what moved, what didn't, what will I do differently in the next block. Short feedback cycles compound quickly. Use weekly reviews to spot patterns across days. Are your deep blocks getting longer? Are interruptions diminishing? Use data to refine, not to punish. When projects stall, apply the 2-day rule. If a project hasn't seen meaningful progress in 2 days, it needs a micro plan and a new first step. Stagnation is an attention failure. Fix it with decisive, tiny moves that create visible momentum. Value-focused language changes behavior. Replace "I need to get through my inbox" with "I will find the 2 messages today that will create opportunity." Replace "I have to attend this meeting" with "I will enter this meeting to secure decision X." Frame tasks as outcomes, not processes. Outcomes are magnets for attention. Resilience in focus comes from building ritualized discipline. The person who practices concentrated attention daily doesn't rely on motivation, they rely on routine. The routine is not joyless, it's the engine. Inject small rewards into the system. A 90-minute deep block followed by a 15-minute walk with coffee, a check-in with a peer to celebrate wins, or a simple stretch and breath. Rewards anchor habits. Lastly, remember Earl Nightingale's blunt clarity. You become what you think about. If your daily attention stream is dominated by low-value noise, your future will reflect that. If you choose to direct attention towards value, skills, relationships, projects, you will become the person who produces value. This is the practical promise of focused work. Now it's your turn to act. In the comments, tell us what is the one project that, if you focus deeply on it for 90 minutes a day for the next 90 days, would change your life. Describe the first micro step you will take in your next deep block. Be specific. Name the project, name the step, and commit to when you'll start. Your public commitment creates pressure that fuels progress. Part 5 is where everything you trained for stops being a tactic and becomes the way you live. Concentration isn't a tool you take out for emergencies, it's the lens through which you see your whole life. If parts 1 through 4 taught you how to build focus, manage inner noise, show up in relationships, and convert attention into outcomes, this final part is about making attention your identity, your energy economy, and the legacy you leave. It's time to translate practice into permanence. Start with a simple truth. Attention is finite and sacred. Treat it like a family heirloom. Protect it from casual spending. The people who live with integrity around attention don't react to every ping. They steward a reservoir. Stewardship means you choose explicit boundaries for work, for media, for social energy, and for rest. Write those boundaries down. Make them visible. Tell the people who matter. When your rules are public, your behavior becomes easier to maintain. Balance is not symmetry, it's fit. You will not live in constant deep focus and never rest. That's burnout dressed as ambition. Instead, design cycles. Peak blocks of intense focus must be followed by meaningful recovery. This is not indulgence, it's strategy. Schedule days where you build aggressively and days where you nurture. long walks, unstructured reading, conversations that aren't transactional. Over time, these cycles increase your output, not decrease it, because they replenish your capacity to concentrate. Energy management is the real productivity hack. Your attention follows your physiology. Even small improvements in sleep, sunlight, movement, and nutrition create disproportionately large gains in your ability to hold focus. Treat the basics as non-negotiable. If you were tempted to skimp on sleep in the name of hustle, ask, what will my decision cost my long game? Short-term grinding beats short-term gains. Long-term capacity wins championships. Make rituals sacred. Rituals are the infrastructure of a centered life. Morning rituals signal to your nervous system, you are entering a creative field. Evening rituals tell the system, it's safe to rest. Keep rituals short and meaningful. 3 minutes of breathing and a sentence of intention in the morning. A 5-minute reflection and gratitude each evening. Over months, the rituals build neural highways that make focus automatic. Identity follows ritual. Integrate attention into relationships with a generous rule. Presence is an offering. If you want deeper connection, give full attention as a gift. Put devices away at meals. Schedule focus time with partners and children where you do not multitask. Ask questions that require thought, then shut up and listen. Presence is the fastest way to build trust and intimacy, because it says the person you're with matters more than the noise of the world. Teach others how to take attention from you. You cannot be everywhere. Create meeting norms, communication windows, and decision rules for your team and family. When everyone knows how to get your attention and win, interruptions drop and productivity rises. This is respect disguised as systems. Systems that protect collective attention so people can do their best work. Align your environment with long-term intention. Physical spaces send signals to your brain. A cluttered desk makes a cluttered mind. A specific workstation for deep work, minimal, clean, only the tools you need, reduces friction. Light, plants, and a comfortable chair are not luxuries. They're investments in cognitive return. Design microenvironments for particular kinds of attention. A reading nook, a phone-free bedroom, a focused work desk. Each cue tells your brain which mode to enter. Long-term attention is built by tiny daily acts that compound. The person who reads 15 pages every day will know vastly more in a year than the person who binges books occasionally. The person who writes 1 paragraph every day will produce a book in a few years. The math of attention is mercilessly simple. Consistent small inputs produce large outputs. Pick the tiny acts that matter to your highest goals and embed them into daily life. Guard your narrative. The stories you tell yourself about who you are and what you can become guide where your attention goes. Replace narrative scarcity, I don't have time, with narrative agency, I choose to spend this hour on X because it builds Y. The language shift is tiny, the behavioral shift is massive. Remind yourself daily of the identity you are cultivating. Write it in the present tense. Read it aloud. Let it shape your days. Mentorship and community accelerate integration. Surround yourself with people who model the attention you want. Join a focused mastermind, find a mentor who protects their time, or create accountability with a peer. Social environments are the feedback systems of growth. When your tribe admires depth, you'll find it easier to remain deep. Practice the art of gentle persistence. Integrating attention across life is not a single heroic act, it's repeated commitment. There will be lapses. There will be weeks when life scatters you. Family needs, emergencies, seasons. Don't mistake a temporary lapse for defeat. Recalibrate quickly, not dramatically. Return to core rituals. Reduce deep blocks to smaller doses temporarily, and rebuild. The system favors the steady returner. Legacy matters. Over years, the ways you spend your attention compound into who you become and what you produce. Think beyond immediate results. Ask, what work will outlive a single week? What relationships will matter in a decade? Where will intentional attention create the most enduring value? Let those answers shape your calendar and guardrails. Use technology with sovereignty. Don't let tools dictate your life. Curate the apps and feeds you allow. Schedule media consumption, a 30-minute window for news or social updates, and be ruthless about quality. Feed your mind intentionally. Choose books, podcasts, and conversations that build your core projects and values. When you view media as input scheduled like any other, its power to fragment you diminishes. Teach attention to the next generation. If you have children or young people in your orbit, model focused behavior. When they see you choose depth over distraction, they learn an unstated curriculum more powerful than lectures. Small family practices, device-free dinners, shared reading time, collaborative projects create cultural norms that outlast individual resolve. Finally, measure what matters. Use monthly reviews to ask the big questions. Where did my attention go this month? What projects moved forward? What relationships deepened? What habits faded? Use a simple 2-column log. One column for where attention was spent, another for value produced. Over time, trends appear. Use trends to adjust, not to shame. Optimization is iterative. Here's a closing experiment. Identify one domain you will protect fiercely for the next year. Skill, relationship, project, or health. Commit to at least 15 minutes of focused attention on it every day and scale up weekly. At the end of 12 months, you will either be significantly better in that domain or you will have learned precisely what to change. That's a powerful trade. Now, make your declaration publicly here. Name the one domain you will protect for the next year and the smallest daily action you will take to defend that domain. Write the exact time of day you'll do it and one condition you will remove to make it work. Phone out, notifications off, neighbor told, etc. Be specific. Specificity is a promise to yourself. What will you protect with your attention for the next year, and what is the first tiny step you'll take next? Share it in the comments. Make it count. If this video helped, subscribe and like.